What's up, creepers and geekers? Chris, the Atari Creep. How is everyone doing today? Got a whole bunch of notes here, so I'm going to be looking down at your tits. What's going on, everybody? You know, back when I made my initial video on a new Intellivision console that may or may not be coming out, I did promise after the 20th of October, when Tommy Tellerico does his little panel discussion about it, his reveal discussion at the Portland Retro Gaming Convention, that I would come back and talk about it. And since he did that little panel, there's also been a trailer released for the console as well on YouTube. I'll put a link to that video down below for you to check out. But I took a bunch of notes. I watched the trailer a few times. So I figure what we'll do is we'll talk about the console itself. We'll get all the sterile stuff out of the way. Then we'll talk about my feelings towards it and what I think it can and can't become, so to speak. So first and foremost, the name. They're calling it the Intellivision AMICO. I don't know where that name came from. I'm not that versed in Intellivision, so if there's some symbolism to that name or whatever that has to do with the Intellivision itself, almost like Stella with the Atari 2600, by all means, tell me down below. It's all going to be 2D gaming. And you know what? I'm perfectly okay with that too. It's going to have HDMI and multiple USB ports in the back, as most modern consoles should have these days. Wi-Fi and interactive lighting. I saw this feature and I was like, that's a neat little gimmick. But then I thought to myself, what if you're really wrenching it on a game? Let's say there's a really good shooter on this, a spaceship shooter, and you're going nuts. And all of a sudden you get into some kind of a danger zone, you know? That idea was mainly lifted from the No Swear Gamer, but it still came to mind. And then this thing starts flashing, going off. It's going to distract you. So it's a fun little gimmick, but I don't know if I'm really down with the interactive lighting. Maybe you'll have the option to turn it off. I'm sure you will. But either way, it's neat. I see some issues with it. Personally, I get easily distracted. And I'm drooling on myself. Jeez, I'm a nasty bastard. So it's going to come with 2 Bluetooth controllers. I really like the look of these. They got a great vibe of the original while updating it. The original Intellivision controller, of course. And it looks like they're making it a little more user-friendly, a little more functional. It's going to have a color touchscreen where the numeric pad used to be. The simple disc, as they're calling it, again, looks like it's a little more updated. It's got the raised edges, so you'll definitely be able to feel around for it. So I don't know, it'd be interesting to see how that works. I'm not a fan of the Intellivision controller. Like I said yesterday in my video, I did a gameplay on Galaxian, and I think I mentioned the Intellivision controller in that. I'm not sure. But either way, I'm not a fan of that controller whatsoever. I'm willing to put up with it to play a few games, but I really despise it. It's going to have 4 tactile feedback buttons. I don't know if using the word feedback means it's not actually going to be micro switches tactile, but in that you're supposed to be able to click them and you'll feel it. Click, 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 click. That will be a great improvement over the old mushy ones. So I'm really excited to see how that works. Gyroscoping and accelerometers. Basically, you're going to be able to move it around much like a Wiimote, and it will react with the game itself. So that's commonplace. Let's see, we got force feedback, which is basically a rumble feature. It's going to have a speaker and a microphone. It's going to auto-charge when you put it onto the base. Another little problem I'm seeing with that is a lot of times with these batteries, if you overcharge them, they start actually getting weaker over time. So it'd be interesting to know if you can replace that battery over time, or if there's going to be some kind of a fail-safe within the console that says, okay, the controller's fully charged, stop sending juice to it. I would assume that's how they're going to go with it, but again, I'm not much of a technical guy, so we'll see what happens with that. And of course, you can download a free app for your cell phone for up to 8 people to join in on the fun. So if you have it out and you're having a party, say it's a Christmas Eve party because the holidays are coming, and you start playing a game, people get curious and they want to play, they can pull out their little cellular devices, download the app, and then all you can play. Now, I don't like playing games on my cell phone, but it's a modern thing, so most people should probably be able to adapt to it. Another thing is down the line, apps. It could date this machine pretty badly, depending on how technology goes, but for the time being, I think that's pretty cool that you can get up to 8 people to jam, bringing that whole gaming community thing back into what it once could have been and was at one point. Thinking, of course, Mario Kart and stuff like that, Smash Brothers. So all the games are going to be exclusive to the console itself, including the reimagined classics. It's going to be pretty much the same games that we're used to, just maybe re-imaged, updated slightly. I don't know, be interested to see what they do with that. We'll get back to that here in a minute. And they're all going to be rated E, 10 plus rating. So it's going to be a family-friendly console no matter what you're doing. This I really do like, only because a lot of parents are shy about buying consoles for their children because of all the mature content that's on them now. So I think this could actually sway a parent to say, you know what? Johnny wants a video game console. This looks family-friendly, and we can all get together and do it. Let's bring this in. I really like that. That's a good touch. Let's see. Where else was I? Games are going to be downloadable for $3 to $8 each. Now, that is great. If they pull that off, even with the new games, I'm assuming they're talking about all the new games as well. $3 to $8 a game, and there's going to be no DLC. Once you download the game, that's it. The game is ready to rock and roll. I'm sure if there's bugs that they probably throw a patch out there you can get for free. But long story short, no more than $10 for any game. So that's great. Multiplayer online, as any modern console should do. The price point for the console is going to be between $150 and $180. He's really going for that whole family-friendly budget thing. God, why am I still... Maybe it's because I got a fresh cup of coffee here and my brain's like, put that in your face hole. Oh, yeah. So, there's going to be both Intellivision and Atari classics on here. Again, reimagined or revamped. Maybe just more polished. Maybe they're going to take the idea of the game and expand it into something a little more 8 and 16-bit. I don't know. But either way, that was weird how I said that, huh? I think it's interesting that they're able to get some Atari classics on there as well as their own Intellivision classics. So that's really cool. I like that. This is the one thing that's baffling me. A Magic. And they're making a point to say this one specific developer, a Magic. A lot of their more popular games are going to be reimagined. Now, it's my understanding after they got sued by Atari because of Demon Attack, which I played live on Instagram the other day. If you weren't there for that, that was a good time. Because they thought it was too close to Phoenix or something like that. I vaguely remember this. And then after the crash and everything, they were going to try to go public, but then things went sour and they basically liquidated the company. And Activision ended up taking over the rights for most of their more popular games. And whenever you see compilations that have, say, Demon Attack and stuff like that, it'll say Activision on the bottom. So I don't know how that's working, but I find it interesting that out of all the developers out there that are specifically saying a Magic, I know they made a lot of really great games for the Intellivision ones I am not familiar with as far as playing. I know of them. Dracula, I believe, being one of them, and I own it. I just don't have an Intellivision to play it on yet. But long story short, I just found it interesting that that one specific name was coming back. I don't know what the connection is there, but I'm glad to see, because the Magic, not only did they have great-looking cartridges, the artwork was amazing. The games were fun, and they were a little bit above the rest. You know, they were right there with Activision, if not, in some cases, a little bit higher. So I think it's pretty cool. So let's talk about games. They gave a list of games that are going to be coming out for it. Now, mind you, this is not on top of the 20 new games that they are going to have at launch. So to read them off, it's Moto Race, Miner 49er, Tropical Angel, Super Burger Time, fuck yeah, Moon Patrol R-Type, 10-Yard Fight, and it's interesting they used the NES black box art for that one. I don't know how that works, but either way. Load Runner, Kung Fu Master, another great game. Arkin, Toe Jam and Earl. That's left field. You don't get any more left field than that on this kind of a system. Spelunker. I think they added that one because it's just a fun name to say. Plus 20 brand new games at launch. And they did say plus. So I'm assuming these games, though, will be available either at launch or eventually. It's going to be on top of all the original Intellivision classics, the Atari classics, a Magic, and the 20 brand new games and all that crap. So right now we're looking at a good group of games that are supposed to be coming out for the system at or near launch time. No more than $8 per game. The system's going to be under $200. If you buy whatever the 140 package is, hopefully it comes with everything. You're good to go. I mean, even I feel that I could probably afford this. And of course, we'll talk about the launch date, 10/10/2020. They're talking about this coming out on October 10th of the year 2020. So they got time to continue this. But it's also my understanding, according to what Tommy Tellerico has already said, I believe in his live stream with Brian's Man Cave, that this was something that's already been in development for a while, even before the Atari box and all that crap. So they've had time to do their thing. We still haven't seen anything physical though yet. So we need to still, I guess, walk that thin line between optimism and being cautious. So where do I stand as far as, I guess, excitement and anticipation of the Intellivision AMICO? I think in concept, everything that I've just talked about is amazing. I would be remiss if I didn't say, I think the majority of us are pretty sick and fucking tired of these classic consoles. I know I am personally, but I really love the idea of this one. I've talked about my love or like of the idea of a lot of other things, like the Atari box when it first came out. Though I've never had much faith in that, aside from it being like an Ouya. But what I have more faith in with this one is not so much the ideas behind it. I'm pretty sure they can pull off everything that it needs. Maybe a few things here and there need a little tweaking, like the console. It's neat that it'll light up, but I don't want the fucking thing flashing while I'm trying to play a game. But it's more so the people involved. I mean, if you just listen to Tommy talk, he's got this energy, like this is good, you know, and I honestly believe in his energy. Maybe not so much him, because I don't know anything about him, nothing aside from his career, you know, in the video game music and all that stuff, and what little I've seen him online talking about this thing. But the lineup of people he does have involved in this lends a lot more credibility to what he's trying to do. Now, of course, it's going to be a niche item that may spill into a little percentage of the general population. And who knows, maybe because of all these simple things, the price point, the family friendliness of it, and just the amount of games and the price point on those, maybe it could do fairly well. I'm not saying it's going to jump up above what we're already used to. I don't think this thing's going to become a runaway hit. But if it comes out exactly as planned, I think it could do fairly well. And I'll be honest with you, I would probably jump on this before any of those ColecoVision ones that are coming out now. The Atari box. I'm just enjoying everything around this. Now, whether or not it actually becomes a thing, who knows? I'm going to stay positive about it. But again, I gotta walk that thin line of optimism, because again, we are so sick and tired of seeing these things come out or spoken about, and either they go completely fucky because of scandal, or there's delays, or it just fizzles away, or whatever. But the energy behind this one, I can get behind and everything. So, that's pretty much my feelings 100%. If it becomes a thing, and it looks like it's going to be supported for, you know, an extended period of time after launch, I think I can get behind this. This looks like something that I personally would be interested in picking up. And I'd be interested to see what the special unit is, especially since it's not going to be any more than $180 according to the trailer. So if they're going 150 to 180, And since I'm signed up for the newsletter, I'll have first dibs, like you, on some special launch edition. Not that that's my thing. I'd rather just have the console and play it. But even at $180 to have a limited edition something or other, that'd be pretty cool. So I wish the team over at Intellivision Inc. the best of luck. I can't wait to find out more, see the console in a physical form, see it working. And I'm pretty sure we will start hearing things trickle in periodically. I don't see Tommy as the type to kind of just disappear. He said he'd be out in October with information. He came out with information, and he's been out campaigning, basically saying the same thing over and over again. So again, I believe in his enthusiasm. So to Intellivision Inc., best of luck. I can't wait to see what you come up with, because if this becomes even 80% of what you say it is for me personally, and I know my family could get behind it and enjoy it, and I know that's where he's going with this. So guys, thank you always so much for watching. Go ahead and leave your feedback. Let me know what you think about the Intellivision AMICO, regardless of either way. You know, thumbs up, thumbs down, all feedback to the Creep is positive. So I hope you're doing well. Take care, creep it real, and bye-bye.